Good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to see so many of you out there. I'm Brenda Braxton from KGW News Channel 8. I am so excited to be here. It's such an honor to welcome you to the YWCA's 19th annual Inspire Luncheon. Almost 20 years. I think that's fantastic. Go ahead and give a big round of applause. We all get to share this afternoon with some visionary women. Their activism, their achievements have really rewritten the pages of history. They've shown us that women are a force for positive change with ideas and energy that can move and inspire an entire nation. And what makes this event even more special today? I don't know if all of you know it, but this is National Take Your Daughter to Work Day. And Gloria Steinem founded this day back in 1993 through her Ms. Foundation for Women. Can I see a show of hands? How many moms, dads brought their daughters with them to the luncheon? Because I know there are some out here. Excellent. I'm one of them. I'm happy to say that my daughter, who is 12, Jaden, is here with us, and I know that she will be inspired, as well as the young women in this audience, by those that we will hear today. Since 1901, the YWCA of Greater Portland has been a voice for women and families in our community. It's been working on a new vision and an organizational model to further inspire success and independence in the women they serve. And this afternoon, to tell us more about that, please welcome the YWCA's Executive Director, Mr. Eric Brown.
Wow, you guys are giving off some incredible energy, and I thank you guys for being here. This is an incredible day for us because we're going to share some great things, but I'm just extremely excited because today is really talking about inspiring our future. And I am going to talk a little bit about the YWCA and our future in a second, but before I get started, I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank all of our sponsors, particularly our presenting sponsor, Fred Meyer, and our leadership sponsor, KeyBank. Not only have they made this event possible, they are tremendous supporters of our daily work to achieve safety, opportunity, and independence for all women. Please join me in thanking Fred Meyer, KeyBank, and all of our sponsors today. So the YWCA has a 110-year legacy of being at the forefront of meeting the challenges facing women. Our historical success has required that we adapt to the ever-changing environment and shifting landscape of our community. Over the last few years, this country has experienced a significant economic shift. Adapting to this new world is paramount, and the YWCA is responding, creating a new future for ourselves and the women we support. The YWCA is going to have greater focus, and we're going to have a bigger impact. We are going to address directly the economic advancement of women. Our new focus is aimed at making an impact at an individual level by building a strong community network of support, holistically addressing the many elements that are the underpinnings of economic advancement. This network, formed by women from all walks and stages of life, will be the core of our clients' efforts to maintain strong and healthy families, increase personal support systems, and attain the critical life skills needed to be successful. An example, the YWCA Domestic Violence Shelter, Yolanda House, provides safety and healing to clients in their time of need. We will continue to care for women escaping domestic violence. However, crisis intervention will be just one step in the process of transformation. The next step in this process are based on 3 newly defined initiatives for the YWCA of Greater Portland. The first is personal achievement. providing access to individual planning and mentoring for women to help develop a personal vision, reach their goals, and realize their potential. The second is community building, bringing women together across the economic spectrum, generations, and backgrounds to build supportive relationships and a mentoring network. And lastly, education and advocacy, improving the lives of women in our society through a coordinated community education, advocacy, and influencing public policy. This coming year, you're going to see some really cool and exciting things at your YWCA. So today, we're really inviting you to join us to be an important part of this work. Of course, our work is inspired by the collective power of all women. And on this stage today, two incredibly powerful leaders have raised the voice and standing of women in our country. So to get us started, please join me in welcoming the newly appointed Metro Councilor, Oregon's first woman governor, former Planned Parenthood board member, and former YWCA board member, Barbara Roberts.
First, I'm going to bring the microphone down to my level. I'm getting over a very bad cold, and so I am using my Lauren Bacall voice today. So I will try to see if it is possible to get through this without having a coughing fit. So thank you very much for the nice introduction. Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm anticipating being once again inspired by one of America's most amazing feminists. But first, I'd like to set the stage for today's experience by surrounding you with some new information on some old history, women's history. So let's start right here in Oregon. In the early 1900s, Oregon men went to the ballot box several times, each time rejecting women's suffrage for their wives, their mothers, and their daughters. Finally, after 40 years of making the case for women's vote, the suffragists of Oregon convinced the male voters of Oregon to pass the initiative. We gained the vote in 1912. We gained the vote 8 years before national suffrage was successful. And this was true in many Western states where women gained the vote in 1911 and 1912 and 1913. This year, Oregon has formally kicked off the activities and plans for next year's celebration called A Century of Action. The mission is to use the suffrage centennial as a catalyst for educating Oregonians about the history of women in our state. We have a website, we have planned events and exhibits and programs, and we are working with historians and librarians, educators, and students to bring 100 years of history to Oregonians. And I am honored to serve with Norma Paulus as the two co-chairs for the Oregon Committee, A Century of Action. And I just want to share one more thing about Oregon's Centennial of Suffrage. The new Oregon Blue Book in the center has a whole section on Oregon's Women's Suffrage Centennial with pictures and posters that most of us have never seen. So I encourage you to pick up a copy of the book. And Kate Brown, our Secretary of State, our wonderful Secretary of State, made sure that it didn't get missed in the 11-12 edition of the Oregon Blue Book. And now, it's time to go national. Last October in Philadelphia, 116 women from every state in the nation, following the model of the Continental Congress, gathered for 3 days just 2 blocks away from where 56 men signed the Declaration of Independence. But this time, 116 women signed the Declaration of Equality. Thus began what is known now as Vision 2020. This decade-long project will develop and launch action plans to move America toward equality and leadership for our nation's women and girls. It will engage new generations of women and men to finish the work of the suffragists who pursued women's right to vote and reach that initial step for social and economic justice in 1920. I am honored to have been named to the National Leadership Circle for Vision 2020. They also have a website, and I would encourage you to go online and look at it. There will be little excuse for Oregon women, little excuse for American women, if we fall short in expanding our knowledge of women's history and our commitment to full equality. And now, speaking of women's history and women's equality, I have the privilege to introduce a woman leader who has spent decades of her life making history and carrying the water for millions of women seeking full rights in politics and educational opportunities, in credit and corporate boards and equal pay and reproductive rights and voices in leadership. Gloria Steinem is legendary. Her background and accomplishments are nothing less than amazing. Writer, lecturer, founder of both New York Magazine and Ms. Magazine, where she remained one of the editors for 15 years. She helped found the National Women's Political Caucus that then and now works and organizes to increase the numbers of pro-equality women in elected and appointed office across this nation. A prolific writer and author, her books include the bestsellers Revolution from Within, Moving Beyond Words, and the amazing biography on Marilyn Monroe. She is currently working with Smith College on a project to document the grassroots origins of U.S. women's movement as it occurred in our lifetime. And she is writing a book called The Road to the Heart, America as If Everyone Mattered, a book about her more than 30 years on the road as a feminist organizer. She's made history, she's changed history, and now she is recording and documenting history. Oregon thanks her, and now we get to welcome her, my personal hero, Ms. Gloria Steinem.